functional consultant. So in fact, like the first time the SAP was, I mean, like this was implemented as a LSMW was implemented, it was basically designed for the functional people. So LSMW stands for Legacy System Migration Workbench. So in this there will be 14 steps, and like there will be actually 17 steps. But when we select different types of, there will be four types of LSMW. The first one is the direct input method, using direct input method. Second one is session method, wherein you just go ahead with the same type of process that we have done for BDC. BDC session method, how we have done the same thing. Then we have the BAPI. Fourth one is the IDOC. So these are the four different things that we have, and these are the four different methods. So today, now we'll be going ahead with the session method. So in this, we will be following the steps. The moment we select session method, the 17 steps becomes 14 steps immediately. It will be transformed to 14 steps. So what we just basically will do is we'll go ahead with direct input method, session method, and BAPI. Right. So session method will have the 14 steps. So these 14 steps are common for all the methods. So in this, like we'll go for the first one. In the first step, what we'll be doing is we'll be just doing the recording. So we'll be doing the recording, and just like we do in the SHTP, we don't go to SHTP now. We'll do the recording from here itself. Everything will be done from LSMW. So in LSMW, the transaction code is also LSMW. Transaction code is also LSMW. And in this, first we'll create a project. Let's say we have created a project as ZDXC underscore when. Okay, this is a project name. In this, again, we have to create a sub project. ZDXC underscore S when sub project. And then we have the object. The object name is something like, we'll go for something like Z vendor, say Z pen master. Okay, so vendor master. So first we'll create a project. Under the project we'll be creating a sub project, and we'll be creating object. So in a same project, if you've done the recording, then that recording can be used for other sub projects as well. You can use it for other sub projects as well. So the first step we'll be doing the recording. Second step we'll be creating the internal data. internal table. So we name it as structure. Here they call it a structure. Okay, but from technically from the ABAP point of view, it's called uh, internal table. It's called structure. So we have a recording, then we have the internal table, and then we have the field names. So we will maintain all the fields inside this table. We'll just give the structure name. I mean, like the internal table here in LSW we call it as a structure. We'll give the name and text, short text, name and short text. But here in the field names will maintain the field names. We'll maintain field names, and after maintaining the field names, we will be creating the link. We'll be creating the link. Creating link. So what this link is all about is, uh, see, there will be fields in the internal table and there will be fields in the recording. So recording fields, in recording we can see the fields. That recording fields will link uh, to the internal table, type fields. This is what we have. Creating link. Recording fields will link it with the fields, yeah, type fields. Then we have the, this is about the creating link, and next we have, what we have here is like, we'll go ahead with the, if at all, if there is any conversions, if there are any conversions, we'll just do the conversions, and then we have to go for the source file. And source file, after creating a source file, then we'll go ahead with the mapping the source file. Actually, this is mapping the source file, and then mapping, then we'll read the source file. So we'll just see if the source file is there or not. So if at all, if there is a conversion, the conversion uh, conversion will apply conversion, and read the converted data. Read converted data. So we do. So in the mapping, we'll just link that file name here. So here we'll have this. Actually, it will be like, we'll have something like specify files. Specify file. So we just need to give the file name. Then we have specify files, and then we have to go for the link file, and then we have to. So this read source is like assign file. Specify file, assign file, and then we'll go for read data, read source, then display source data, display source data. Then we'll have display, after the display source data, we'll have convert data, apply conversions, uh, read converted data. So the headings, exact headings in the LSMW transaction might slightly change. I'm giving you the rough idea of this. So now once we read data, we create BDC session, that's batch input session, create batch input session. Then we'll have start, or you can say run batch input session, and batch input. So these are the 14 steps that we'll have. So what we'll do is, right now we'll go ahead with the process now. Let's do the process, and if you have anything that, so these are the 14 steps that we have. Let's go ahead and do it now in the system. And I'll be doing it for MK01 only. Later we can try for some other transaction codes. So we'll go for transaction code called LSMW ZDXC underscore when one uh, DXC sub when one. You need not create this as a set. You can not. So we have given this project, subproject, and object. And under one project we can have, so it'll give you this kind of a option that it does not exist. So just for confirmation, we'll click this and it will say that it's not existing. Then we have to go for this one. If it is existing, it will open. If it's not existing, then create entry. So in this, when we click on this create entry, it will show up this description. So vendor data, so vendor sub project, say okay, and then we'll execute this. Now the moment we execute it, we can see 17 steps there. So we'll have maintain object attributes. Just say okay, and then by default it will be in the display mode. We need to click on this display change mode so that like we can change that. We'll select this batch input recording and then we'll go ahead with the recording here. So recording we have not done, so we have to click on this. We have to click on this recording. So recordings overview. We need to click on this. So as I told you, there will be 4 types of LSMW which you can do: direct input method, batch input recording, BAPI, and IDOC. So we'll go for this batch input recording and then click on this recordings, and we'll just go for this new recording. So new recording is DXC when you can give any name, vendor recording, MK0. The transaction here should be exactly perfect. So once it's been done, we'll go ahead with the recording. We'll go with D. So okay. So virtual SAP, country is India. So we're just going for, we're skipping these things, and INR is mandatory, the currency is mandatory. Just say okay and save it. So once this data has been saved, you will be able to see the recording as we see on the screen. So we have in the first screen we can see clearly that we have given three inputs. All the inputs that we are given will be shown in the white color. So whatever you see in the white color inputs, those are all done from our end. So what we have to do is we have to go ahead with uh, the moment I click on default all the field names will by default come beside this. So we'll go for default all. So all the field names are by default coming here. Save, back, and then we have to. This has already been done. So here we need to give the recording name. Save, and once it's been done, we'll go back. And the moment we go back, if the first step is successfully done, automatically the cursor will come to the second screen, second step. So just click on this and click on this display change. Click on this create. So the source structure is st underscore. So it underscore it well. Look it as vendor itar. So all that we have to do in the second step is this. We are given an internal table name. It is actually called structure here, but that's what will carry the data. So source file. Click save, back, maintain source fields, select OK. Now we need to create the source fields here. We need to create the source fields. For that we need to just create, and we need to give this vendor LIFNR. For LIFNR, this is the field description is vendor number. Length is 16 because we have that length is 16. Then the second field that we have is EKORG. And EKORG we have account group, and the length is 4. Then make sure that you keep the cursor always on the last field. Otherwise, if you keep the cursor here, that gets created on the top, so the order will be missing. So make sure your cursor is on the last field and click on this create. And then we have KTOKK. This is purchase organization. Then here also we have 4. Just done. Select KTOKK, create again. And this KTOKK we have after that we have ANRED. Title is something like 20. Say okay. Select the title in an ANRED. Click on create, and then we have name 1, name of vendor, length is 40, and then we have land 1, country 3, land 1, and then we have this WIS currency 5. So these are the fields that we actually give an input into. Okay, there is one more called search term. Okay, search term is missing, SORTL. After the name, it should come. So I'll keep the cursor on the name 1. Let's create. So SORTL is missing. Search term. This would be around 10 only. So when I keep the cursor on the name 1, SORTL is coming exactly below this. So this is done. Save, back, maintain structure relations. Structure relation is already been done. Here we can see this, save, back, maintain field mapping and conversion rules. So now we have to do the field mapping. So these are the fields that we have created in the internal table. Now we have to link this with the recording fields, So LIFNR, we'll click on this display change. So now once we click display change, the source fields icon will appear. Select this LIFNR, click on this source field and select this LIFNR from the internal table. So EKORG source field, EKORG, KTOKK source field, KTOKK. In some projects I have seen that the source fields will be mapped, will be named as field 1, field 2, field 3. So if you name it as field 1, field 2, field 3, it will be very very confusing. It's better to name with this one. So we have this as ANRD. Okay, name one, source field, name one. Sometimes if the source field is longer than the target fields, okay, you can just ignore that because we have given 40, length is 40, so it will not be more than 40. Any field will not be more than 40 in any text. As of now, we are taking that into consideration that we are in the safe length 40. So we have given the length as 40 for name one. So okay, SORTL source field, SORTL. Then we have this land one source field, hand one, and then we have WARS. So WARS source field, WARS. So these only when you have the source field longer than the this field, okay, the internal table field. So in the internal table, if you are given length as less and in the source it is more, then it will become a problem. So that's the reason we have to make sure that we always have a bigger length. So save it. Maintain fixed values translation. So fixed values translations and user defined routines, we are not doing anything right now because this will be involved only when you want to give some fixed value. For example, there is a field called city, or there is some field called company code. So company code is common for all the table, all the values. Company code is common, so you can give it as a fixed value. So even if you have a million records, for all the million records, we'll have the same thing. So we need to have this and execute this. So in this step, we are not doing anything. We are not giving any fixed values or something like that. So we'll manually change this time. Manually change to the next step. Go to the specify files. So what I'll do is I'll take the file which we have already done. So in this, like we went into MK01. We used it as MK01. What I'll do is now I'll change this as E. E. So we've gone with that. We've selected that and let's select that file now. So this is a legacy data on the PC front end. Okay, so then we have the application server which we are going to do later. Okay, later today. But this PC is something which as of now we'll select it and click on this display change and click on the source field. So the source field, the file, we have to browse the file name. So here we have this PC. It is in the D drive. I have kept it in the D drive. So in the D drive, go to the D drive, and in this we'll go for this MK01 01, something like that. Okay, MK01 is the one which we have to select. And name, you can give any name. Okay, so I'll give it as DXC vendor, DXC vendor. Okay, and then no separator has to be changed to tabulator separator because it's a tab separator, right? The data is in tab separator and it's American standard code. So we have IBM DOS, which we never used actually. So ASCII is the code page, and now the file is been linked here. Save it back. Now let's read the file. Assign the file. Assign the files is already done. Assign the files is already done. So this file has to be assigned to internal table, because you know, right? Internal table to that file, flat file data has to be loaded to internal table. The assignment is already done. Just save it. It's done by the system, so we don't have to do anything. Read data. Select this. So we'll read it from 1 to 10. See what happens is, today in this file we have only 3 records, but sometimes the client gives a flat file with some 1 lakh records or 1000 records. So all the 1000 we cannot read yet. So we just want to see if the data has been loaded. So we'll just give 1 to 10. But since we have only 3 records here, the 3 records only will be shown. Allow the file. Yes. So these are 3 records have been shown. So this will show you how many records have been loaded. But the next step will show you what is the data. So once it's been done, we'll go for display read data. Display read data will actually read the data. So there are only just 3 records. So the 3 records, whatever data is there, will be displayed here. Once it's been done, we'll go for convert data. Convert data. We didn't do any conversion, so it will be just convert data. Even if you execute, nothing will happen here. So okay, 3 display convert data. This is the data that we have. So now create batch input session. So here now, if let's say we can make data packets actually. In this step, we are creating a session just like we have done it in the session method. We'll create a session, but in each session we can decide how many number of records can be there. So for example, if you have say 1 million records, you want to split them into 1 lakh records in each packet, you can give this 1 lakh here. So if you give 1 lakh here, that many records will be given into one package. But since we have only 3 records, let's make it as 2. Let's make it as 2. So in the 2, okay, so we'll be creating 2 folders which we can run individually. So I'll just select cell, execute. The moment I execute, see, for 2 records it will be 1 package, and the remaining next will be only 1 record will be there, that will be in the second package. So we'll be creating 2 packages. So 2 sections actually, 2 batch and folders with 3 transactions created. So we'll have 2 things. Now we can go ahead and we can run the batch input session from here, or we can run it from SM35 also. So but I'm running it from here only. In the session method we have done it in batch input session. So we have done this. So I'm selecting the just 1 record is there. So we'll just go for the process in the foreground process, and automatically, because we have set it in the process in the foreground, so everything will be displayed here. Say okay. The system got stuck. Let me do it again. Let me relog in again. Let's go to SM35. I'm not sure if so it's still there. It's not processed. Select this process. So we can also do it from SM35. Oh, it's already started. So we'll go to this 2-1 process because we have initiated the process there, right? So it had to be completed there. Suddenly it stopped, so we'll not be able to fix it now. It will be in the running only in the backend. So just say okay. Okay, this should be INR. Second one. So session has been successfully uploaded. So when we go to the S11 transaction and just check the data in the LFA1, so this data should be there. LFA1. Kushal record. So this is uploaded. This record is uploaded. So we will get this. Okay, so it's just to confirm that the data has been successfully uploaded into the table. So this completes our LSMW project.